read this article in the New York Times by Rachel Drucker, and she talks about her experience on the dating apps, kind of in relation to the male loneliness epidemic. It's about a very real modern dating experience that I feel like we have all had at one point or another, where either you get a guy's number or you're talking to him on the apps and you're texting, you're getting to know each other, maybe you follow each other on Instagram, maybe he swipes up on your story, and if the conversation is going really well, there's no movement or action on his part to set a date in person and get to know each other in real life. In the article, she labels this interaction as directionless orbiting, which I feel like is genius to label it. I've been in this situation and it's so confusing because you think like, oh, did I do something wrong? Should I be making the first move? What's going on? Does he like me? Does he not like me? Did I just waste a week of my life talking to this person? So hopefully labeling it as this directionless orbiting can help kind of take some of the mystery and the frustration out of it.
It's not really the names but the actions that's gonna take the frustration out of it. And there's not much mystery behind it. Men are done. It is in fact that easy. You keep bashing men for years, yelling at them to leave you alone, and when they said okay, you act surprised and you're frustrated about it. But since everyone decided to talk about this article, why not me as well? And when I say everyone, I say everyone but everyone on TikTok, because on TikTok I've seen a couple of ladies speaking about that article, and it's not really their fault either, because they're too busy either bashing men still or trying to talk about male loneliness. I'm not gonna read the entire article for you, it's quite long, you can find it online if you want to. And outside of the title basically saying it all, men, where have you gone, please come back, I'll just try to summarize it for you, reading a bit at the end. It goes like this: we are asking for presence, for courage. Why should it take courage from my part to be involved with you? Well, don't know, but I'll keep going. For breath and eye contact and the ability to say I'm here. I don't know how to do this perfectly, but I want to try. Come back, not with flowers or fireworks, but with willingness, with your whole beautiful imperfect heart. We're still here and we haven't stopped hoping. Well, keep hoping. Did I say that men are done?
Okay, so I'm reading this New York Times Modern Love column called Men, Where Have You Gone? Please Come Back. I want to read part of this column because I think it just sums up, I think, where we are as a culture. And it's this idea that my friend and I talked about quite a bit because she's on the dating apps and she is like a very direct, forward person, asks for what she wants, sets the boundaries. And what she's getting back in return from men is like silence, ghosting, avoidance, whatever. And she is like, what's going on? So that's basically the conceit of this article. And I really like the writing. So I encourage you to read the whole thing, but let me read you a couple paragraphs. So she writes about James, this man that she meets on Raya. There was just enough spark to wonder what might unfold, enough curiosity to imagine a doorway, but he didn't step through it. He hovered, flirting, retreating, offering warmth, but no direction. Sexual tension and a spark aren't reason enough to sit still and hope there's substance behind the shimmer. So I named what I felt. I texted him clearly with care, not simply to declare attraction, but to extend a real invitation to explore what was possible. I didn't chase, I invited, leaving the door open. He never replied. He still follows my Instagram stories, one of those small gestures of passive engagement that so many of us mistake for closeness. It looks like interest, it feels like silence. What I won't entertain is directionless orbiting, that thing so many men now seem to mistake for connection.
And yet we don't mistake anything. If we want something, we're going after. This is just trying to look at his actions from a woman's perspective. Liking someone's stories on Instagram means a lot more for women than it does for men. In fact, for men it means nothing. Women are going on all their posts to check who liked them, who didn't, if they said anything or not, while men will just like a story and go on about their days like it meant nothing, because it meant absolutely nothing. Even the lady that wrote the article completely missed the point. So of course this lady also missed the point completely. But her video is quite long, so we'll just skip ahead.
So I really like that because it's talking about some of the common things that we talk about of like male loneliness and male isolation and blah, blah, blah. But what's interesting is she's saying, I'm giving you invitations. I'm inviting you out. I'm opening the door and you, meaning men, are not walking through it. And that feels like an interesting new angle to this. And I think the sharp part is around like they're still looking at your Instagram stories and how it feels like that is almost a replacement for a relationship. Like that sort of digital, weird, parasocial, keeping tabs on thing is enough, is sufficient.
And if it is, you're pretty much screwed. How are we gonna make this article about male loneliness? It doesn't make any sense. How are we gonna take that last line from the article? We're still here and we haven't stopped hoping. And you made this entire story and this entire video about male loneliness. If the man she was talking about in the article felt lonely, he would have taken the invitation. If there was such a thing as male loneliness, it will be men talking about it, not you taking an article and trying to turn the article fit whatever narrative you want to push. Trying to shame them or bashing them with the male loneliness, it doesn't work. Men are simply done.
You know, the more that I think about it, the more that I realize how truly men are not needed in this society. And this is what triggers them, because where we're at in our society is pushing men to provide more than just money or than just kids. They need to provide a personality. And this is what triggers them. This is where the dismantling is happening in the society. It's because women, we are able to provide all of the things that men have controlled in provision. We are able to now provide it for ourselves. We want children. There are plenty of children that are seeking the love of a mother. We can adopt. We don't need a man. We can be a single mother. We can adopt. Money. We have access to so much money, even more. We have adapted our entire being to this society that has been pushed from patriarchal foundation. We have adapted and we have taken over.
Over 15.5 million women aged 18 and older lived in poverty in 2022. This represents over 1 in 9 women. 31.6% of families headed by single women with children were living in poverty in 2023. I'm not really sure what you took over, but can't be a brain. Listening to this crap for years and much worse is the reason men are done. And when men are done, this follows.
Someone please tell me where all the good men are hiding.
So I have like a general inquiry. General inquiry. Where are the old school, like, nice traditional values? And, like, the normal dating?
Where are all the men hanging out in Italy? It has been a year since I moved here, and my dating life is not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. Prior to moving here, I would come all the time. I would come for work trips, I would come for vacations. Since the pandemic, I would come here and I would work remotely for like 4, 6, 8 weeks at a time. During those trips, I had a very easy time meeting men. Since I moved here, I'm just like, where did everyone go? And I'm doing all the things. I'm on the dating apps, I go out to events, I go out by myself, I go out with girlfriends, I go to networking events, whether they're professional or personal. Like, I do all the things. Where are all the men?
Serious question, where are the men?
Why are all the girlies in the same boat right now? From my last post about where are the girls finding boyfriends nowadays, can we debrief how literally every single girl had the same comment? They're like, I don't know, I'm trying, no luck, blah, 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 blah. Like, why are we all in the same boat?
Okay, but seriously, where are all the good guys? They have to be out there. Those of us that are in the dating game have to believe that they're out there or we wouldn't be doing it.
He's a 10, but he wakes up early to go to work, barely goes out, plays video games, has social anxiety, and sends memes to the same 2 friends. If you're this guy, please marry me.
No, and not that I don't appreciate the effort, but it sounds way too good to be true, so no.
Single girlies in their late 20s, early 30s. Where are we finding men?
Unfortunately, they are working overtime instead of going out and dating because they feel they will never be attractive enough or wealthy enough for a girl ever again. They would rather check their weather app than chat with another person on Hinge.
I figured it out. I know where all of the men who are seeking emotional connection and mental connection and spiritual connection are. Are you ready to hear where they are? They're at home. They're at the gym. They're at work. They're busy healing themselves and they don't have any more time to be seeking out different people at bars or clubs or out in the streets because that's not where they are. All right? If you are looking for one, find them at your local grocery store. Find them at your local gym. All right? This is where they are because they are focused. They are tired of having women take advantage of them. They are tired of getting manipulated, and apparently they have all just dealt with a lot of narcissist people and they're just sick of it. So they're not even willing to put themselves out there anymore.
So where are those single 30 to 40-year-old men at?
A lot of them are just doing their own thing. They go to work, they go home, they enjoy their hobbies. Some might be online dating. But for the most part, many of them have given up on dating, unfortunately. The risks just outweigh the benefits at this point. They don't feel appreciated for their efforts. They feel like everything they do is bare minimum. They're tired of all the unreasonable expectations.
Here's some tough love for today. You're wondering where all the good men are, right? Well, I'm gonna tell you. They're pretty much everywhere. At work, at school, at home, at the grocery store, wherever you can think of. But the problem is, women are not able to find them anymore, and there's a very important reason why that is. We do a lot of research daily on dating and dating advice and what's out there right now, and what we find is unfortunately horrifying. The advice that's out there that's given to women to be successful in love is ridiculous. And all these women go on a date and use these new tactics they just learned about to be successful in love. And you know what happens? It backfires, because a good man can sense that from a mile away. So let's go back to our original question. Where are all the good men? Well, they're tired of getting foodie calls. They're tired of being friend zoned. They're tired of approaching women and getting rejected over and over again. And they don't want to do it anymore. And some of them are, you know what, I gave up on dating.
Have you noticed how men will literally fight tooth and nail to not be demasculated? Like, literally it's the most important thing to them, but there is no female equivalent. You can't like defeminize someone. I reckon we start like telling them to not defeminize us. So he wants you to pay 50-50, don't defeminize me. He won't carry your bag, don't defeminize me. He won't tell you look beautiful all the time and ask you out and give you compliments, don't defeminize me. We need to protect our femininity just as much as they protect their masculinity, okay?
No, not really. I was never trying to defeminize you. I was doing all those things, well, I still am, but I wasn't the one calling myself toxic for doing all those things. I never tried to defeminize you by not holding the door open for you. In fact, I was holding the door open until you started yelling at me I should not do that. And even more than that, no man ever attacked your femininity. But I remember quite a few of you yelling that masculinity is toxic. You said being physically fit was toxic, so I'm not gonna carry your bag. Being stoic was toxic, so I'm not gonna stand up for you, and being financially stable was toxic, so 50-50 it is.